Okay, hi everybody. My name is Jacob Purcell and I'm a tour guide here in Israel. I'm going to take you to a brand new site, Christian site, for my Christian friends, and my Jewish friends are invited to listen along because it is part of the history of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. We're going to a new site which has been turned into a national park. Parks Authority. So those of you who buy the pass to go into all the national parks, you get in. And the place is called Ein Hanna, which means the spring of the redeeming, or possibly the spring of the wayside. Now, it's important because there's a very strong tradition, and this is the place, and I think that, I always grade my sites in the land of Israel as authentic, which is the place where it really happened. Traditional, where there's a strong tradition, maybe that's the place, but there's no proof that it happened there. And then, of course, commemorative, meaning it didn't happen here. It might have, but probably didn't. But we're coming here anyway to read scripture, which I don't think is usually a very good idea when you come to the land of Israel. But we're going to a place that is almost authentic. In other words, if you read scripture and you get there, it makes sense that this is probably the place. Now, in the Bible, it's known as the conversion of the Ethiopian eunuch. I'll talk a little bit more about the eunuch when we get there. But I'm reading now from the book of Acts 8:26. Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, "Rise and go toward the south to the road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza." This is a desert place. And he rose and went. And there was an Ethiopian, a eunuch, a court official of Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who was in charge of all her treasure. He had come to Jerusalem to worship, and was returning, seated in his chariot, and was reading the prophet Isaiah. I guess you shouldn't read and drive at the same time, but probably he had a driver. And the Spirit said to Philip, "Go over and join the chariot." So Philip ran to him and heard him reading Isaiah the prophet and asked, "Do you understand what you are reading?" And he said, "How can I understand unless someone guides me?" And he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. Now, reading the passage of the scripture that he was reading was like this: like a sheep he was led to the slaughter, and like a lamb before its shearer is silent, so he opens not his mouth. In his humiliation, justice was denied him. Who can describe his generation? For his life is taken away from the earth. Of course, this is the famous suffering servant passage, a very important part to my Christian friends here. Sorry, there we go. I was reading the ESV here. So where we're going to go, and imagine you're in the car with me driving, I would be reading this when we got to the site, and before we get there, I would take out a map, and this is a map that I give my tourists when they get here. So here's Jerusalem, and south, the road to Gaza, you see the Gaza Strip down here. So south of Jerusalem, he's going, but in the desert. So there is an ancient road we're going to see in just a moment. So again, here, Jerusalem, there we go, here. And so we're somewhere around here. And what makes it makes sense is that the Ethiopian wants to be baptized. And as they're driving on the road, they see pools, open pools. Now, they're in a desert-like place, and all of a sudden they see open pools, which means there's a spring there. And the pools are man-made. So let's see what this looks like. Let's get in the car and let's go to Ein Hanna, the spring of Hanna. Okay, so Ein Hanna is now a new national park. This is a new place, and there's the ranger. And I haven't been here yet. This is the first time I've been here. And what's important is, of course, when you first get here, the restrooms. Very important place. So let's take a break. Okay, everybody, welcome. We're at a new spot here. If you look around, you'll see we're east of Jerusalem, and there's a road here that goes southwest, and that's very important. You can see the cars going by. So this highway was used also a long time ago. Now, the site we're at is a new site, and it's called Ein Hanna. And it's important because this is the first Ethiopian convert here mentioned in the book of Acts, Acts 8:26. So let's start our visit. Okay, this is a virtual tour, and of course, anywhere I go, the first thing you have to do is hit the bathroom, right? Because I am telling you to drink of water. Now, it's in the middle of August here in Israel, and at the beginning of the video, I showed you where this was. And what we're going to do now is we're going to walk. Lots of families here today. So what we're seeing here, there's a lot of older structures here. And of course, my big thing when I take people is this the real deal? Is this the site where Philip baptizes the Ethiopian eunuch? Now here's the thing. When you read it, the chapter, it says the Ethiopian who was he was a big cheese in the court of the Queen of Ethiopia. So, and he came to Jerusalem to worship. Now, some of you might know that there is a very, very old Jewish community in Ethiopia. And they're still there. We brought most of them over in the 1990s. They were very much in danger. And some of them have really horrible stories that they walked here. They actually walked from Ethiopia through Sudan, Egypt, and then were flown on Israeli Air Force planes to Israel. And it wasn't easy. So the story rings true, in the book of Acts. Now, where we're going is to the church. Now, the church is built over. You see, it's a spring here. Yeah. We're going to the spring. And here's the thing. There's the road. The spring were pools, and Philip wants to baptize this eunuch. By the way, why a eunuch? Well, if you were very ambitious and you wanted to climb the success ladder a long time ago, what you did was to serve in the royal palace. You were either a soldier or you were a civil servant. And to serve in the, I'm going to pass these families here, to serve in the palace, and she's a queen, so that people wouldn't talk, you had to get castrated. Now, this is against Jewish law, but, you know, if you want to get ahead, you got to do certain things. So we have here a ruin of, and you can see, this is an apse of a large Byzantine structure. In other words, it's about 1600 years old. And you can see that the water flows out of the ground. It's a spring. And the reason there's so many people here is because it is vacation. If I were to come here the 2nd of September, I'd probably be here alone. But it's one of the few places people can come. And this is, when I bring you here, there won't, I promise won't be this many people. But this is where Philip baptizes the eunuch. And now we have my country cousins here. These are all Israeli families, and they're having a great time, just enjoying the spring. Now this is the pool they're in is from the complex from 1600 years ago. Okay, and there are 2 pools here, and this is the place, guys. This is the place. And there's a fig tree here. There's people, I don't know if they're eating any of the figs. I don't think they're worth eating. But people are going in the water. And what we're going to do is, if we can, we're going to walk up here and see if we can go to the complex. You can see people enjoying it's hot out. It's about 93 out right now, 92. But it's Jerusalem. I mean, it's not humid. We're in the mountains. And then we older complex here, and you can see the ruins of and another pool, and you can see the ruins of the large structure that was here. And so remember, this is all spring water. And believe me, I feel like jumping in myself, but I don't think I will. So this is just a short film. Now, this isn't on any of the itineraries of the tour groups yet. As of now, there's no tourism. The tour groups that were scheduled for September have been canceled. I have 2 tours in October, and I hope I have them. But this is... Now with this fellow standing here in the blue shirt, I'm going to move up a little bit. Again, this is where the springs. The water comes out of here. And you see the kids going down, and they're going down and climbing through. So when we get here, you can, wear some water shoes and bring a change of clothes. There's restrooms here to change your clothes. It's a fun place. Now, the question is that is always asked, is this the place where, is this real place? Guys, we haven't found a sign that says, the Ethiopian eunuch was baptized by Philip here. However, if we read scripture carefully, this place very well could be. So is it authentic? I think so. Definitely traditional. So it's between traditional and authentic. And it's new. The park opened just a couple months ago. So if you're, we come to Jerusalem, it is literally a 15-minute drive from the Israel Museum. And the parks, and when we come here, we get a parks card. Doesn't cost, we just punch on the parks card and we go in. A really, really great place to come. So, and Kenya. This is Ein Hanna, Ein Hanna. And who Hanna is, I don't know. But the Israelis having a great time here. Families, the return of the children of Israel to their ancestral home. I love it. Every time I see Israeli families, I think about the state of Zionism, the state of the idea of having the Jews returning to their country, even 100 years ago. And you have to realize that believing in Zionism was a minority of a minority among Jews. Had more Jews latched onto the Zionist idea, there'd be a lot less people killed murdered in the Holocaust. So my name is Jacob Purcell. I'm a tour guide here in Israel from a new Christian site, a national park here in Israel, the Hanna Spring, Ein Hanna. Hope to see you soon in Israel. Bye-bye.